Okay, welcome everybody to Cigar Lounge. I hope you guys are all doing well. We haven't done one in a little bit, but it's pretty outside, and as always, I am smoking this is a Quorum cigar. It is it is like one step above the factory throwout cigars. But once you get one step away above factory throwout cigars, they start having hats and things like that. So I have hats that I wear, a Quorum cigar hat. Um, Want to make one quick announcement. I finished my third can of beer in my life the other day. As everyone knows, I'm more of a whiskey guy, but someone told me about a beer that I liked, so just wanted to share that news with you. And I thought that was the perfect introduction today because my friend Thorsten is from Germany, and anybody who knows Germany knows they are the king of beer. That's what people tell me. So, Thorsten runs Options4Winners, and he has been a wonderful partner for Option Omega. I was on his video channel a couple months ago, and he puts out great content. And I've been wanting to have him on for a while, partly because we have just a little side note. Our second biggest market for Option Omega besides America is Germany. And that's due in part largely, I think, because of Thorsten's work he does there and the great job he does teaching options and things like that. So we wanted to have him on. And Thorsten, I'm so thankful to be here with you today. Thank you for joining us. And can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Troy. It's very, very nice to be here. Many thanks for that. Yeah, my name is Thorsten. I'm from Düsseldorf in Germany. Maybe the most people know Cologne, but Düsseldorf is very close to Cologne, and I think it's a better choice. But anyhow, just a little bit about my background. I studied economics and worked for many big companies. I started trading back in, I think, 1998. In the beginning, I only traded stocks, and later I mostly focused on leveraged products, warrants, certificates, later futures, now options. And currently and now I'm a full-time trader. I have my own YouTube channel, and I offer premium memberships for all who wants to learn options trading. This is my hobby, and this is my job.
It's good to have the best. The best hobbies are also your job. Sometimes I found in life. So I'm thankful for that. Can you tell a little bit about where, like, I know you worked for, like you said, a bunch of big companies in the past. What got you into options? How was your journey into options start?
Okay, this is a good question. I worked for the raw material industry, and we produced steel, for example, and therefore we had to hedge our commodities. And this is what I do more or less in London Metal Exchange. This was my first contact to options. And when we started to hedge the commodities, I learned that you can also earn money with options. And 1 year later, I had the idea to do a trip to the USA. And it was a quite nice or attractive currency rate. And I also thought, why I'm not going now to the USA? And next year, I don't know what will the exchange rate next year. And this was my first thinking about options. How could I earn or hedge my money? And this came more and more. And with the age, you also the invest part becomes bigger and bigger. And also, the Corona crisis. I cannot sleep if I have a lot of money, which I saved over years in crisis. And as mentioned, I started trading in 1998. So there were 1 or 2 or 3 crises, and I lost a lot of money. But then after 2008, 2009, I started to hedge my investments. So more or less, I'm the whole time hedged. This is only possible for me with options.
So you began with hedging, and I imagine that was more as a general rule, puts and equities, put options and equities and things like that. But I know
Yeah.
you moved, and what you do now is largely credit spreads, credit selling, and things like that, income generation. What was that like, going from a hedging background to spread selling?
Yeah. This was also quite interesting because I thought about the situation. If I buy put options, someone else sells put options, and he earns my money. And then I thought, oh, what a nice situation, to get money, and that the probability is quite high, that I do not go into the money, so that I have a high probability. This was quite interesting, but it comes quite late here in Germany that you have the chance to trade options. It is not long ago I only traded CFDs or warrants or certificates, but no options selling. It's the same situation with stocks, short selling. It was also quite unusual for the private trader to sell short. This was not possible. And later on, I noticed, okay, this was also YouTube, that I saw, okay, there are some people, they sell options. And then I observed the situation, and then I noticed, okay, now it's also possible for the private trader to trade or to sell options.
That it raises this interesting point, and I've seen it in our Discord room a lot lately. What can you speak to some of the differences of a trader trading in Germany to what perhaps someone in the States or someone in a different part of the world might have, as far as limitations and kind of how you have to think about things? Because one of the things that I've encountered a lot is people saying, particularly in Germany, there are some real limitations to what you can do and what you can't do. Can you speak to that?
Well, it's in Germany, it's the Verlustverrechnung, so you can only 20k euros put for take for long options. So you are quite limited in trading long options. And this, if you trade credit spreads, credit spreads is short options and long options. And this is a big problem for trading credit spreads or trading trading strategies where the debit spreads, for example, are real. If you have long options more than short options, you have debit spreads, and this is a problem for the normal private trader here in Germany. But you have 20,000 euros for the long options. So if you have a smaller account, it's not a problem. I have a club here, and we have a lot of club members, and it's 80% of our club members are normal private trader, and you can trade it with simple strategies and with smaller accounts, of course, but also for bigger accounts. Let me say, I think 100K account should be not a problem, but everything over the 100 could be a problem. But as mentioned, the choice of the strategies is very limited. So you have not the biggest choice. For example, advanced strategies, I showed a YouTube video on Sunday about double calendar spreads, for example. It's a problem, or if you trade butterflies and so on. Everything what is more complex could be a problem if you do it too often. Yeah? Or you see it in your option Omega. You are the reason, by the way, Troy, yeah, that we trade more often strategies on SPX, yeah, because now we can also look into the past. Yeah, what happened if we do it so or so. But if you do not trade high probability trades, then you have a problem with the 20K limitation here in Germany. I have a great 7 DTE SPX bull put spread. Yeah? But the probability is only 60%, and you have to close it quite early. Yeah? Take profit 50%, but also take loss 50%. But in this case, you collect a lot of long options, and this is not good for the 20K regulations here in Germany.
It's so interesting to me, again, as a retail trader, but B, an American retail trader. It seems, to me, almost backwards in the sense that I would think that they would want to protect against short options more than long options. Although I'm sure people can lose money in both directions very quickly, but because of that idea of undefined risk versus defined risk, it's surprising to me to hear that they would have such limitations on long options. Do you know a little bit? But am I wrong in that assumption, or can you break down why they would limit that in that way?
Yeah, all in all, it sounds stupid, but they want to save the people here before doing any speculations. Yeah? So, options originally comes from hedging, but most traders do not use it for hedging. They use it for income trades, for speculations, etc. This was the reason. But the problem of all is that the people who decide for rules are not mostly experts. And this is quite often the problem. These are people, they don't know about money, but they make rules about money. And we have different parties here in Germany, and we have one liberal party, and we hope that this party will help us trader to cancel these regulations, but not happened until now, but we hope for that.
I see. And with the index in Germany, do most people, are there options on, what is the index in Germany? I can't remember off the top of my head. I apologize.
DAX.
The DAX, yeah.
DAX.
Are there options traders on the DAX?
Yep, of course. Yeah. We have the Eurex. This is our stock our options exchange, and this was what I traded in the past as well, but it's not so liquid, and therefore I prefer the American index and the American companies.
I was going to ask if the liquidity is good on derivatives of the DAX or not. But I mean, obviously, the SPX is the most liquid spot, and SPX are the most liquid instruments in the world. So it's hard to compare that, I recognize. But you started trading SPX. Is there a difference in limitations of what you can do via SPX versus the DAX, or are those regulations the same?
It's the same. It does not depend which country or index. It's the same.
I see. And so you started this process of selling, and like you said, you're having to be careful. For instance, doing debit spreads and credit spreads and things like that. But I want to, as much as you want to, I would love to hear about how you've thought through that and some of the strategies that you do. And you don't have to get specific, but I would love just to think through some of the strategies that you do and what you look for and when you teach people. And this is always a great segue that my partner Matt will privately text me and tell me to say, which is options involve risks and are not suitable for all investors. And that everything me and Thorsten are talking about is just for entertainment advice and not financial advice, because these things are backward looking and not forward looking. And that applies for me and Thorsten. So with that being said, what kind of strategies do you like to run nowadays, and what are you looking for in the market and things like that?
What I like are more or less simple strategies. So I prefer trading, and this is what I also teaching here in the club. It's bull put spreads, it's bear call spreads, it's iron condor, jade lizard, reverse jade lizard, very little short strangles, but it's a margin problem, I think, and this is what we do more or less. That we are focusing on option selling first, and very, very focused on simple strategies. We work a lot with indicators. So I programmed indicators for TradingView. And based on the TradingView indicators, we have a strategy. It's the bread and butter strategy. It's a very simple strategy. It's a trend strategy. And we sell short puts or bull put spreads with a long-term duration. So it's not 2 or 3 days. It's 45, 60 days, and with a low delta. But the focus is the consistent income. And this is what I started with. One nice story. I lived a long time ago in Krefeld. It's another city close to Düsseldorf, and I liked a tapas bar close to our flat, and we went there once a week. And I said to my wife, "Wow, it's quite expensive." And then I started with options selling, and I said, "I trade options only to pay my tapas in the tapas bar," and this was where I started with. And then it was a tapas bar, then it was a tapas bar in my car, then it was tapas bar, car, gym. So it comes more and more. And then later on, my wife said to me, "Wow, you earn so much with only option selling when it is so easy." Why is not everybody doing that? This is
That's
the question. And I said, yes, so easy it's not. It's the same with zero DTE. I think this is what we also will talk about. That I trade each day. So each day I'm trading, and I not only trade zero DTE and my bread and butter strategies. I have 2 handful strategies I trade, and then it costs a lot of brain power. So this is also quite this is quite interesting that some people like this and some not. And you have to learn. Maybe if you like it, then you do it. If you do not like it, you can learn it. If you cannot learn it, don't do it. This is the normal way of doing. But back to this, what I said at the beginning, the consistent income strategies. I like it. So I plan at the beginning of the month my options income. So because I use my income for something else, so I need this money. This is not only money for playing with things. No, it's really investments. What I do with my money. So I plan, and this is the same in our club. Now we have a target return, a monthly target return. It's 1% per month, with really little drawdown. And this is what we want to do. And therefore, we have a handful strategies, and you can learn it, and then you can do it. And if you later, and this is the process, you start at the beginner, but to become expert, it's a really, really long way. And if you go very deep into the Greeks, this is really complex. If you have a complex strategy, because this decides if you're a winner or a loser. If you do, for example, a double calendar spread in a high volatility environment, is this the right choice? I don't think so. Or if you sell puts in a very, very low volatility environment, maybe it's also not the best choice. Do you want to have the company in your account or not? The shares. This is also a question. So you see, you have a lot of things to do before starting to trade live.
That I love the way the idea of the tapas bar. I have a saying that I use in the States when we're talking about just thoroughness and kind of sober-minded thinking and things like that. I always just say German engineering. It's kind of a trope here in the States, that idea of German engineering. Just people who are just very methodical in what they do, and that's such a methodical way to think through it. Even the income targeting at the beginning of each month, that you kind of slowly are building this thing up and saying, we're not trying to be speculative, although this is the very nature of it is speculation to some extent, but we are trying to not be speculative as much as we're trying to put positions on with high probabilities, very conservative positions that pay off over time. And the point is not having one trade that is a lotto trade, a lottery trade, as much as building a kind of a paradigm and a discipline about your trading through time. Is that something that in the club, have you found in Germany trading, do people, is that kind of, I mean, this is going to sound kind of stereotypical, but do you find that easier to convey than the speculative side, or have you encountered people in Germany that are the GameStop type person, or the Wall Street Bets Reddit type person, or something like that?
This is, I think, most of the people. I only can talk about the Germans here. Most of the people here in Germany, they look for a way to get a consistent income. And nice to have a lot of money, nice to earn a lot of money with trades, etc. But this is what most people do not want. And I know also the age, I think, from my club members, most of them, but I think this is in USA more or less the same, are not 20 years old. They are more in direction 40 years old and older, and they have money, so they earn money, and they don't want to lose money. So this is really, really important. And maybe the Germany is the country with the highest insurance rate of the world. So here you see that safety first is also for the money. So they want to have money, of course, but if they lose,
that's so intriguing. It's intriguing to me because I love when things that you having encountered about people that are positive, like the German people are well thought out. As a general rule, I love when those things are true, and so that's what I hear you saying. In some way, like the highest insurance rate in the world, that proves that true in my mind. It's interesting, and I don't want to harp on it, but it is interesting just thinking about that the regulators of Germany, because I would think in some ways Germany I could see as the leader of the world in hedging, and some because of that insurance mindset, and yet the regulation of a limit on how much you can do long options is intriguing to me with that.
And it's really interesting. The time when I was in London, England, metal exchange, I thought that the British people think, oh, Germany and financial and so on. Now we are the best. Yeah, no, this is a really nice reputation Germans have in England, in London. This was also quite interesting for me. And what I can say, I don't know. In our call, I told you, my wife is from China. So here in my private rooms, I live more or less in China. It's a really Chinese culture and Chinese food. Yeah, so then I go out of then it's Germany, but I have a lot of contact and friends in China, and here also the Chinese friends, and they are much more relaxed, much more relaxed. So different. Yeah, if someone calls me and wants to know more, wants to have more information about the club, wants to have each information. This is quite interesting. If I talk to someone from China, what is the price? And then bam, this is not discussing nothing. Yeah, and then they buy and then they buy, but they do not use it. So this is quite often the case. But it's also so interesting, the differences from culture to culture.
Yes.
And this is really nice, because also said to you that I lived in Tokyo, in Japan. And when I was there, it was before I moved to the USA. I was also for some time in Alabama. It's close to Tennessee, I think.
That's
I stopped the flight in Atlanta, by the way, but and before I went to the USA, and I was in Japan. The people are so over friendly. They are so over friendly, and then each time and so on, and this is what I thought about China as well. So, but it's also so different, yeah. Because if you look to the people, it seems to be the same, but no. And then I came from Tokyo to Alabama, and I arrived at the airport and I had a rental car, and this was a Chevy Camaro. Yeah, this was a nice rental car, but then on the street, the big cars, the F-150, the F-250, and so on. This is this was the completely opposite of Japan, and also it's quite different to Germany. But it's interesting.
It's very interesting. Yeah, we being from Texas and then Tennessee. The thing about the South in America, it's interesting. Tennessee and Southern culture, they'll kill you with kindness, but it doesn't mean they don't want to kill you. It's just they will kill you with kindness sometimes. Whereas in Texas, where I'm from, they either will
you're originally from Texas.
I'm from Texas, yeah, but I've lived in Knoxville most of my life. In Tennessee, I lived in Nashville too for a couple of years. But that it is so intriguing to me, just different cultures, and I'm excited. For those who don't know, me and Thorsten has invited me to Dusseldorf, and I think I'm going to be able to go. I'm waiting to hopefully hear back from my passport pretty soon. But in July, for those in Germany, if you want to message me if you're in Germany, I'd love to get together with you. I've never been out of the States really in any meaningful way, so I'm excited to be with you in Germany. It'll be the first European country I've ever visited, so I'm very excited about that.
You're very welcome, and we hope, and I hope that you will come here to Germany, to Düsseldorf, and it's a perfect time, 2020, 1st July. It's our summer event here. 100 club members are invited, and as mentioned, we are very we have 80 million people here in Germany. But if you look to Europe, it's much more. And in our neighborhood, it's Netherlands, it's France, it's Austria, it's Switzerland, it's Poland, it's Denmark. So there are small ways to other countries with a completely different way of living. So this is really, really nice. And as you said at the beginning, we have, I think, the best beer of the world. Yeah.
No, I'm yeah, for sure. It's intriguing. Again, flying in and out. My choices are Knoxville, Atlanta, Nashville. Your choices when flying in, it's pretty wild to me. What you can fly into France, you can fly into Amsterdam to Dusseldorf to Munich. There's so many just international airports close by. It's very intriguing to me. So I'm excited to talk more about that. Have you sold out? I put your information in there without even asking you. I just put it in our group chat for those in Germany who might be interested in that club in July. I put the link, and if you're sold out, maybe next year, make it even bigger next year. But I put it in there for those interested. So, anyone have any questions or anything for Thorsten before I let him go? I don't want to hold on to him forever because I know it's nighttime there. I think so, right? What time is it?
It's 7:30 p.m.
Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah. You can put any questions in the chat as we go. The other thing I was going to ask you about, just from a trading standpoint, what are your choices in Germany when you're as far as brokerages are concerned? Because I've heard some talk about some limitations in that as well.
This is also most what we miss here in Germany is the choice, for example, of different platforms, brokers. Yeah? We are more or less limited with interactive brokers, and the platform is Trader Workstation. It's also not the best, but it's doable because we also can use tools like Options4Winners, for example. This is a great tool for doing the analysis, etc. So this is possible. But here we have resellers, German resellers, FX Flat, Lynx Broker, banks, and there you can use it. And then you have to look because the provisions are quite different and sometimes quite expensive to do the trades.
That is an interesting thing. I mean, I've heard more people just via Option Omega who have gone to interactive brokers. Some stayed, some returned to their previous broker. But my understanding of it is it's very, very powerful at the expense of perhaps some refreshing user interface. At the expense of refreshing the user interface.
But I like it. But you said German engineers. I think this is it's okay. Then it's okay. It's at the beginning. It's I don't know if you know SAP.
Yeah.
SAP, a really big German company, and also these tools are not really state of the art, I would say. So
yeah, I understand. No, that's it's intriguing. I mean, there's in some ways I could see it being it's limiting, but at least you know what you have. In the States, it's you can almost have analysis paralysis because there's 4,000 brokers that you can use at this point, and so Robinhood, even from those of like a Robinhood and things like that all the way up to Trader Workstation and things like that. So I've got a couple questions here for you, and one of them I'm just going to absolutely butcher because I can't pronounce anything to save my life. But can you? I'm going to save myself the embarrassment. If you look at the Cigar Lounge up there, and next to it there's like a little button that says Open Chat.
Yep, I see.
Okay, and Peter Pan. I don't know if it's the Peter Pan or an imposter Peter Pan. If it's the real Peter Pan, I have questions for you.
This is interesting. Peter Pan asks regarding my 0 DTE trade, and this is a Tagesschau trade. Tagesschau, for your information, it's the German news on TV each day at 8 p.m. And
Interesting.
and I opened my trade each day 8:15 after the news on television. Yeah? And therefore, it's a Tagesschau trade. Yeah? And it's a really successful zero DTE trade, and it's, to be honest, it's 20K friendly. So also the German traders can do it without having a company for trading.
What can you speak to a little bit kind of you don't have to be too specific, but is it like a condor? Is it a put spread or call spread?
I can show it you if I can.
Yeah, sure. If you
share
can share
my
the screen.
screen here. If I'm able to do this, share screen, Bildschirm übertragen. Ja, machen wir doch mal glatt. Bildschirm übertragen. Okay.
Can everybody see that?
You see now trading view, I think, right?
I do. I just want to double check. Can everybody see? Sometimes, yeah, everybody can see it. Perfect.
Now it's option omega.
Yep. See, yep.
Okay. This is the Tagesschau trade, my zero DTE trade, and here you see it's a very simple strategy. It's a bull put spread strategy. I sell the put option for 0.75 bucks, and then with a spread of 50, or you pay 15 cents, you can choose. I buy a put option. And this is what I do here each time. In German time, it's 8:15, and it's quite successful here, you see.
Yes.
It's a quite nice strategy. And because we German, we love technique. So we developed an automatic tool where I only need to press a play button, and then the trade will be opened, and also the close orders will be put into the system then.
Interesting.
It's absolutely automatic, and you have to do not more than to press the play button. Then you can go to the tapas bar and you can eat and earn money.
Indeed. That's great. A couple of things, just having looked at 4 million of these in the last 12 months, I'm interested in. Is the up to I see? Is it up to 2 contracts per trade? Is that what I say?
Yeah, I did it here for a 30K account because our club account is 30K as well.
That's shout out to you for limiting yourself. I was just talking to someone the other day, and they're asking why we put so many limiters in, but this is the exact use case is to start with a smaller account with fixed position size, something that's realistic to what life is for you, to see a real result like this. And I see you have put the what I call the Punisher section on there. You have opening and closing fees, and you have the required 2 hits. So yes, that's a fantastic. I like the looks of that.
And the problem here is because a lot of people say, okay, no problem, you posted the strategy on YouTube, I don't need you anymore, I do it. But no, because if you open a trade, it's the start.
That's right.
What is the next step?
That's right.
And this is often the problem, that people don't know the order types. For example, if you do zero DTE, it's completely different. If you trade, for example, long-term duration, and also to come into the trade and come out, this is different. And what we do have here, it's also a high probability trade. And what is more important, to have only little losses. If you have 2 big losses, Yeah, and I say it to my club members. Yeah, for example, if you trade from January to November and you are very successful, yeah, because you go unsaved into the market and you have a trend, it's bullish, and you earn, and then the black swan is coming, and all the money you earned is away. I think, look, if it would be your job, you wouldn't be happy. And if you have a wife and you have to say, holidays this year, not weekends, no, we need to stay at home. And no, this is not right. And this is really important, the mindset, that you have to calculate first, what can you lose? And then what can you earn? And if the relation is okay, then it's fine.
That is sage advice. That is very good advice. It is interesting to hear people who make, I saw the YouTube video, therefore I don't need Thorsten anymore. It's like I watched Messi shoot a goal in the World Cup, therefore I would refuse Messi's lessons at this point. Like, there's a certain point where there's a difference between a trade and a trader. And I think one of the things that is valuable from options education, the reason we don't do options education, but we try to point to people like you who are teachers, is because we value it and we don't think it's a sub product, a sub thing of our product. It is, you need them together in our minds. And so I would always tell someone who'd said, like, I got their trade, why would I keep subscribing or listening to them? And I would just say, well, the fact that they came up with the trade shows that they're able to come up with trades. And that's the type of person that you, in general, want to be with. But also, watch how if they ever adjust the trade. Watch as the market conditions trade. You want to be with that person in real time as the conditions are changing, because the whole point of this is there is not one trade. These things are fluid. And it's becoming disciplined. It's about becoming an engineer type trader, someone who's emotionless in this. And you can only do that. You can't do that alone. That's the way I look at
that. Indeed. And the most people I talk with, and they said, this doesn't work. I say, please come from your theory to the live trading. And then we talk later about this. And if people come and say to me, your strategy, no, I have a much better, and you become within 1 year a millionaire. And I said, yeah, okay, why then start it. Let's see. Could be, of course. Yeah, I hear in not about Option Omega, another Discord group. I met some two young guys. And I couldn't believe it. And they said, okay, let's come to us in the Zoom meeting. And they showed me 24, 25 years old. In 5 and in 6 years, millionaire. Unbelievable. But they are trader. They are full-time trader. And they are not pushing any, or not on YouTube, not there. They only trade. And this was really interesting. But the chance is so little, because what do they need to bring to get this money? This is the question.
Yes.
And this is like people playing poker. It's also with system. But some people are millions.
That's exactly right. Two more questions, if it's okay, because we're approaching the hour mark.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to post that test? And if not, could you post the YouTube where you talk about that test?
I can post it, of course, yes. I think here, share with others, and
very good. Yes, you have seen it. Yes, you are an Option Omega power user. I can tell already. Yep.
I put it in the chat, and then you have it here, bro.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. And then the last question. Not sure if you're willing to speak on IBKR settings for your stop, since it sounds pretty automated. Do you use an ITM protection, etc.? I don't know exactly. That's what the ITM. I'm not an IBKR guy, but
ITM protection. I think the question is, I would do something if the underlying comes too close to the strike price. Yeah? I think this is the ITM protection. Yes, of course. In our tool, we have a relative order, and at 5 minutes before stock market closing, we look to the price, and if the price is 5 points away from the strike price of the short option, we close the trade. Yeah? This is because the cash settlement, it's not directly at well, what is it in your time? It's 10 p.m. It's 4 p.m. your time. I think.
Yeah.
When the in the stock market closes, it takes up to 10 minutes. If the SPX is calculated. So there is, of course, a chance that you go into the money after stock market closed. This is a big problem, and therefore we have the ITM protection in our tool. But you can also do it manually, by the way.
Is that does it change? Because here it's not as big as issue with the in the money with SPX because it's cash settled. Does that?
Germany is a problem because the cash settled goes into the 20K.
So interesting.
And this is not nice. But you are right. It goes. It's cash settled. Yeah. But anyhow, also this could produces a lot of losses.
For sure, yeah. No, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Well, Thorsten, we need to do this again because you are so knowledgeable, and we have so many people from Germany, from Europe that I think benefit from these discussions, things that where they ask us questions and we try our best, but you're living this every day. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time with us today. I appreciate you. And like I said, I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to see you in person in a couple months here. So if you guys don't mind giving a big shout out to Thorsten for being with us here, and Thorsten, we'll put this on our YouTube, and I can send this to you as well if it's helpful for you to put it on your YouTube channel. But as always, I put your information in here, and I'll put it in the Cigar Lounge. But people can reach out to you, Options4Winners, and obviously, you guys heard the man talk. He's very knowledgeable about options and particularly trading in Germany. There's just some real caveats to it. So, again, thank you so much, Thorsten, and hope to talk to you soon. And then before we go off tomorrow, we'll have another Cigar Lounge, and it's not going to be as interesting a guest. The guest is pretty boring, if I must say, because it's an AI bot that I wrote last week. So it's not a real person. It's not the real Matt, but we're going to be talking about Matt, the new Matt bot, and why we wrote it, and some tools and things like that. So we'll see it.
We see us in Germany in July, I hope.
Yes, and yeah, and if you are in Germany, please message me, because I am trying to make a little circuit of time of who all I could see and where I could go and things like that. So please message me if you're in Germany. But appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and we will talk soon.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.